I thought I'd get us going by asking James a couple of questions and then open it up to all of you to just talk about this. It's amazing to me that we are seeing this play, and I'm seeing it with James tonight, given what's happening in Afghanistan. There's a saying in recovery circles that there are no coincidences. So I think there is no coincidence here. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but I'd like to start off by asking James, how accurate was this depiction of war? You as a warrior, who sword count that. How accurate was this?
Well, just real fast, I just want to say my answers are just going to come from personal experience. Everything that I've seen while I was over there. I'm going to try to answer everything as accurately as possible, like I said, from personal experience, but some things I may not be able to answer, and if some things that I say is from personal belief, it is not meant to offend anybody, because I know everybody here has their beliefs on everything that's going on. So if I say something that is not meant to offend anybody, just so we're clear, it's just out of personal belief, okay? So I'm trying to think of how to explain like my outlook on being in war. Just so you know, I was in Iraq 06, 07 for 15 months. It was exciting. It was terrifying. It was every emotion possible going through you every single day. But the thing that really kept everybody going was the camaraderie. I experienced brotherhood that I could never experience anywhere else. Nothing like it ever again. Guys that a few months earlier, we would probably be fist fighting in the parking lot. Now we're hugging, best friends for the rest of our lives. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
It's not what, if you haven't been there, it's not what you think. I thought I knew what I was getting into. I come from a pretty big military background, seen the news, I've seen movies. Unfortunately, it's nothing like that. It is very fast, it's very scary. You literally have a split second to make a decision that will make the difference in life and death. Sometimes you'll make a decision and, somebody may get hurt, somebody may die. And that's something that you gotta live with for the rest of your life. The biggest issue that I had when I was overseas was not doing what I had to do. From the time I got in, when I was deployed, I was 20 years old. From the first day in boot camp till the day I deployed, they turn you into a machine. They teach you how to use a weapon. They teach you how to kill, right? But they don't teach you how to deal with it. Now, I spent, like I said, 15 months on a deployment, seen a lot of stuff happen to me, a lot of stuff happen to people around me, but we didn't have time to deal with it, because no matter what happened on a Monday, Tuesday, if we had to go outside the wire, we were going outside the wire. You did not have time to grieve, you didn't have time to cry, you didn't have time to do anything but just know that you had to get ready for the next mission. And you did that every single day until your tour was up. And then all of a sudden you get home, and just like that, I will tell you right now, the very first night I slept in a bed back in the barracks, everything that happened over those 15 months hit me like a tidal wave. And they kind of teach us, like a warrior doesn't show their heart until the axe reveals it type of thing. So everything that we've been through, never talked about. Maybe at a drunken party or something like that, we would have a discussion about an operation we did, something that happened there, or reminiscent of one of the guys we lost, or something like that. But nobody ever actually dealt with what was going on inside of them. And that was the biggest mistake I made. I know some of the guys, it was the biggest mistakes they made, because over time, all it did was just keep building up, and then you keep asking yourself more questions. Why were we doing this? Why did we do that? If I would have done this, if I would have went right instead of left, this person would be alive, type of thing. And it goes on for years until you start opening up about it. And it's one of the hardest things to do. But with that being said, all the stuff that had happened over there, I wouldn't change what I did because I knew I was there for a purpose. I knew that I was fighting for the people next to me, for the people here. I know a lot of people didn't agree with the wars that we were in, but at some point, if we don't do these things, it's going to come to us. I've seen a war-torn country with my own eyes, and it is terrible. I mean, I guarantee you most of the people in this country would not know what to do with themselves. And that's why the brothers and sisters that I've served with, you know, we still keep our heads up. Even in times like right now with Afghanistan, same thing happened a few years ago in Iraq, and that's where I was. I was in Iraq. Right after Operation New Dawn, what happened? As soon as we pulled out, the country got overtaken, right? Same thing's happening right now. The way that I'm trying to teach the guys that I'm working with to deal with this is find a silver lining in it. Because it's true. It feels like everything we did and everything we lost was for nothing, right? It would have taken a couple of days for them to overturn that whole country. So what I'm trying to do for myself and for my guys that I'm working with is to find a silver lining. Whether it's, you know, getting the 17-year-old child out of the country right now to safety. You know, when these guys were there, that child may never have been born because, you know, or might have gotten killed in an accident or something like that was going on. But while we were there defending them and protecting them, you know, good things did happen. A lot of people survived. So whatever the silver lining may be for each person, it's going to be different. I think that's the only way that a lot of these guys are going to deal with what's going on right now.
That's powerful. So what you're talking about is really developing resilience in the face of tragedy.
Right, because we can't change the past. We just got to learn how to live with it.
Right. And do good things. And leads me to my second question. Do you feel that the warriors that we saw were treated than current day warriors?
I don't know where, you know, I was amazed when you guys went over that list before of how many wars, you know. And I'm sure there's wars that we don't know about. But it seems like somewhere along the line something changed because I remember, if I'm looking back at some of these older wars, their warriors were treated like gods. They rejoiced, they loved their soldiers, their Marines, whatever, you know, whatever they were. They got treated with such respect. And nowadays, you know, I mean, even, you know, some of the Vietnam vets guys that I work with, I mean, they're getting spit on, you know. Listen, we don't make the decisions. We're put in a place, we're told what to do. That's what they tell us all the time. You're a soldier, you are paid to do what you're told, not to ask questions. Okay? A lot of the stuff that I was involved with overseas, I did not agree with, but I still had to do. Okay? And I just wish, you know, before people start cursing and spitting at people, they don't know what we went through over there. It is very, very hard to come home and deal with it. It takes a strong person to deal with it. And even some of the strong people don't make it out very good. But yeah, I don't know where it changed because, like I said, everything I've seen from the past, warriors were like gods to their people. But nowadays, I don't see it. You know, 1 out of maybe 100 people will stop and say to you, "Oh, hey, thank you for your service." You know, and not saying that that's why. You know, we're not asking for that. Trust me when I tell you, we didn't serve for a free meal here or a thank you here and there. That's not it. But you know, we also don't want to be crucified for the things that may have happened over there and the stuff that people see on TV. You know. A lot of the time, you're only getting a little bit of the story on television. There's a lot more behind what's actually happening.
Thank you. What questions do you have? Yes, question here.
Hi, Fred Pike. You didn't ask for it, but thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
I just have an extra question because the only thing I noticed to say to someone who served is thank you for your service. Is there something else that is more meaningful to you or more a demonstration of how you're honored by us?
Just by saying thank you for your service will can change a person's life. Or change their day, change their moment, whatever it may be. You don't understand how much that goes, or how long of a ways that goes for one person. I mean, of all this, all the stuff that people go through while they're over there, just a thank you is more than you can understand. It really is. Sometimes, people do go on a little bit more and ask certain questions, but unfortunately, sometimes people don't really think about what they're asking the person, and it could trigger them in a negative way. I know it's not, meant to be that way, but sometimes it does. So honestly, sometimes just a thank you, and like I said, not asking for that, but it truly is appreciated. And honestly, you don't really have to say much more than that. A person will thank you and really, truly appreciate just those few words.
And one thing, if you're visiting, you may not know, and if we live here, we do know, our community is full of veterans. We have a very high proportion of veterans because we are a rural community and basically a poor community. And most people join the military from this kind of community. So people who may not be in uniform that you may be interacting with may also be a veteran. And St. Joe's has a specialized program for veterans where James works and I consult because some veterans need very special healing. And in our community, which has a wonderful tradition of healing tuberculosis, the cure clinics, St. Joe's CEO decided that we needed a center for veterans to also heal. And so we have that program. Now, any other questions you have? I mean, it was such a powerful play, depicting on so many levels. Any other questions or thoughts you want to share? Yes, Clona.
I was just wondering, during some of the more emotional parts of the play, whether it was screaming or flashing red lights or, intense moments there, did that impact you? Did that do anything for you, or were you able to separate from that?
So, to be completely honest with you, I struggled for a very long time after my deployment, and I still do today. I struggle more often than not. The thing is, I'm at a point in my life now where I recognize where I am. I know I'm not back over there. I know I'm safe. I know I'm home. A lot of people are still there. Some people never left. Some people still believe that was all they were built for. And it's trying to find another purpose to kind of move on with your life. It's very, very difficult to get it out of you. Did the show make me think about a number of things? Absolutely. I mean, there was probably a couple of parts of the play where I wasn't even realizing what was going on because I was thinking of something that happened. A lot of that happens, and it happens often. I was to the point for a few years where I would not sleep because I was terrified to go to sleep. I was severe nightmares. I would have times where a bang would literally put me in a position where I was getting ready to fire. And you see it, you think, you see it in the movies, and that's a real thing, unfortunately. It's real and it's scary. I was at it, for the first few years, I was telling everybody I was fine, but I was not fine. I would have severe panic attacks. I would get flashbacks that were so strong that I could visualize and feel the exact thing that I was seeing in my mind. Nowadays, when something gets triggered, it's not the same because, like I said, I've learned to, understand that I'm not there anymore. I'm home, kind of like a grounding technique, I guess you could say. It still happens, and I'm sure it's something that I will probably live with for the rest of my life, but I'm not, like I said, I'm okay with that now. And that's what we're trying to get our guys to, that's where we're trying to get our guys. We're trying to get, and excuse me, I say guys, I mean our men and women.
And it's important, this play, to really reach other people, across America, to really understand what post-traumatic stresses. The post office now has a PTSD stamp, but to really understand it's real, it can be a lifelong struggle, but you can get through it. You can begin to figure it out, master it. And a key thing is, what's the purpose of your life? And that's where I think we let our warriors down, because we don't help them find a new purpose. And the warriors of old, they were warriors. You know, whether you were or not, you had the armor, you were the warrior, and now our warriors don't have a sense of purpose, and that's on all of us, I think, to help our veterans with that, and however we do that. So.
I forgot what I was gonna say, 'cause I was listening. Just real quick, just so everybody knows, we are trying really hard to get more programs for veterans. The past few years has been great. It has been moving forward, because honestly, when I got out, I got out of the Army in 2008, and it was probably 2 years before I actually got into a VA or even knew what the VA actually was. You know, and they really did. They had, you know, if you were struggling, they would put you in a detox, or they would put you in a mental health ward or something and throw some pills at you. Let them settle in for a few days and send you home. That was the way they were dealing with us. Nowadays, you know, it's great, because I mean, the VA is still pretty heavy with giving people medication, but they're having more programs now where it's more talking, more activities. They have retreats. Something I've been working on for the past 18 months with the New York State Certification Board is something called a VSR. Now, I'm a certified recovery peer advocate, and basically it's a non-clinical counselor, right? But we are actually building a veteran-supported recovery program that is specific to veterans. It's the certified recovery peer advocate, but it's veteran-specific. And I really believe once this is actually out and we have, you know, because we're going through the beta test right now, all 5 modules, so we're just at the end of getting this fired, like, you know, off the ground. I truly believe that peer-to-peer, obviously we need the clinical side of things, right?
We need the peer side of things. That's why we're a team.
Right. And I think putting both of these together is really
Yeah.
going to make a difference for our guys coming home and our girls, you know, our women coming home.
Because you need a model. To develop a sense of purpose, you need to know what it looks like. James is an example of what it looks like. So, any other questions or comments? Oh, okay.
Well, I saw you writing today. What do your colors represent, and how has that been of assistance to you as a club group?
100%. So I am part of the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. We are in every state. We have 9 chapters here just in New York, and we are now international. We're in Germany and we are in Korea. You have to be a combat veteran to be a full member. Now, the events that we hold, so just so you know, tomorrow we're doing honor flights. So what we do is we will tomorrow we're picking up a World War II veteran. The guy's 96 years old. All of us are going to escort him from his house to the airport, fly him to Washington, D.C. He's going to get a tour to all the memorials and the monuments, and then send him home. And then we're doing there's a child up in Chattagay, 2 years old with cancer. He is a child of a veteran. We are doing a ride for him, and all the money that is raised for this ride is going to get donated to his family. So, it's kind of like, how can I put this? Different uniform, same brotherhood type thing. I mean, we're doing so much stuff together, and we're kind of like giving back to the people who have fought for this country. And it doesn't matter what era, it doesn't matter which theater of combat they're fought in. But I noticed that it's been helping a lot of people, including myself. And it's actually one of the best decisions I made was joining this association.
It's sense of purpose again. You know, giving back is a sense of purpose that our veterans have given, and now they need to give again. That's that human connection.
To be completely honest with you, I mean, I was one of the guys who really thought, you know, I got injured really bad when I was in the military. Ended up leading to a discharge. It was a medical discharge. And I really did not believe that I was going to do anything else with my life. I was so in deep with the military. I loved everything I did. I re-enlisted for 6 years during my deployment. Literally got sworn in at a blast hole that blew up under my truck. That's how much I loved the military. And, you know, things happened. You know, I got injured, but I was, luckily still to be alive. And then I got discharged, and I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do with myself. There was a few times where I was in my head like, you know what, I wish Iraq would have took me when it had me. At least I would have died a warrior type of thing. Because I was sitting in my house just not knowing nothing. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. But, you know, it took some years. It took some years, and it took the right people, and, you know, the right timing, I guess, had everything to do with it. But that's why I think it's so important that we get so many more of these programs off the ground, because these guys are literally getting prescriptions from the VA and sitting in their house. And that's it. That's what their life is, you know? And it's hard going, I'm sorry.
No, I'm thinking sitting with their pills and their guns.
Yeah.
And that's why we have such a high suicide rate.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to come back from something like combat where it's just so, like the rush you get is unbelievable, and then living like that for so long and then coming home and having nothing. You know, it's like going from here to here, and you know, that's why a lot of us ride motorcycles and stuff like that, get that, you know, that little rush back. But I'll tell you, there's nothing like it. There really isn't, and it's like I said, I don't want to say that and sound like I'm crazy, but it's true. There's nothing like it. It's everything possible boiled into one, you know, one. I don't know what you would say, but
Experience.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts or questions? Yes.
Well, I've got kind of a two-part question. Does it bother you, having been there and having seen what you've seen, that there's so many movies and games and everything like that that glorify war and focus only on, you know, you're a hero, you're going to shoot stuff and you're great, and do you wish that there were more things like this play that focus a little bit more on what's left afterwards?
I'd rather see a play like this all day than see some of these stupid movies that are out, because they're so inaccurate. It's just, you know, they build up, they make these big storylines, and it's all stuff that you will literally only see in movies. You know, some of the movies, like I've seen a couple of the movies, and it's, you know, so I think if they try to make it more of like trying to pay respect to a unit or a soldier, for instance, like American Sniper, you know, they were paying respect to a guy who was real, you know what I mean? And a lot of the times these movies are taking a scenario from something they heard happened for a team that was overseas, and they're making a movie about it, but it's completely inaccurate. And it pisses people off. I mean, I was watching a video or a movie not too long ago called 999. This guy was watching a video on his computer, and it was actually one of our units that this happened to. I have the footage on an external hard drive from the cameras in our Humvee. Like, that's bullshit. They're using something that actually happened to people and putting it in a movie, and I just don't agree with that. I do not agree with, you know? Sorry, got a little quiet there.
That's good. Well, thank you so much for your interest in this incredible play and your support of Pendragon and our new director, and please support veterans as you go forward. Yes.
I just want to say thank you, James, not only for your service, for your candor, your vulnerability, your honesty. We appreciate that. Thank you, Pat, for the work, the ongoing work that you're doing. Thank you both for spending the night with us. We're grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Just so you know, this woman right here, I have have known this woman for a very long time, and she has made a huge difference in my life. I was one of the guys who was struggling a lot. I was very close to my end, and honestly, I've worked with this woman for a long time, and she has done more for me than I could ever actually thank her for. So,
Thank you, so you
thank
say it publicly.
Yes,
Thank you, thanks. You're incredible. Thank you.